All right, guys, here I am with Jay Soul. We're going to discuss. Oh, shit. All right, guys, here we are. Sorry, I can edit it. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, I'm here with Jay Soul, my boy. We're going to discuss the heads and tails of gambling. How are you doing, Jay Soul?
Mate, heads and tails. What are you talking about?
Mate, I'm so tired. All right, me. Okay, don't laugh. Okay.
You should keep this at the end. Put this at the end.
Maybe for the bloopers. Okay. All right, guys, I'm here with my boy Jay Soul. We're going to discuss the highs and lows of gambling. How are you doing, Jay Soul?
I'm great, mate. How are you?
I'm doing really well, mate. I haven't gambled, as you know, now for about 5 weeks, and it's been great. But we know between us, we've had some pretty hilarious stories when it comes to gambling. Some amazing highs and some outrageous lows. So let's discuss some of our experiences with gambling. Can you think of one particular bet that you place that just makes you laugh, or you have a big regret for it, or an immense amount of elation? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Yes, mate. And it's it's the game. It's the game where we took the Clippers live like 6 times.
Hey, go on, keep going.
So, just to give a background, we had a week where we bet really big on 2 games and they both were wrong, and we were starting to question, is this really worth it? What is this? Why did these both lose? Then the illusion, Adam sent me a message and said, look at the Warriors tonight, and we bet on them live and they ended up winning. And it was one of the most magical evenings. It was amazing that we finally had a rebound, So the following night, we looked at the Jazz as a lock city, and we bet on them live like 6 times and they won. Now, again,
bet on them 8 times in play.
Maybe 8 times. Yeah. And they won. And then we were starting to feel unstoppable.
like we couldn't lose, like we'd solved it.
So then the next night, which was a Saturday, the Clippers were playing the Grizzlies. And maybe you should tell them what you did.
All right, guys. So we were flying. We were betting big stakes, guys. We were up thousands of dollars. It wasn't just like $50. We were up so much money. And me and Jay Soul were having conversations like, listen, if we keep nailing these, I reckon we'll probably make about 100 grand a year and we'll be good. We were like, we really believe that we've cracked the code. And so I went out on a Friday night. I went to this bar, sports bar. I was just flying. Felt so good. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have some beers and I'll watch the Clippers game. Lock City. This is just sort of flying. I think we were like Clippers by 20. Clippers will win this by 20. And I was at the bar and the Clippers were up and I was like, okay, this is just so good. and there was people at the bar and I was like, Clippers win this, guys. Like, oh, okay, yeah, they look pretty good. It's like, guys, listen. Drinks on me, guys. Drinks on me. Like, whatever you want. Margaritas are really good here. Drinks on me. I've got them. Like, I hope you're having a great vacation, guys. I felt like king of the world. I felt like I just won like 50 million on the lottery. And about an hour later, guys, the Clippers were like down 8 with like a minute left. I was hanging in. I was like, listen. Oh, there's still a chance. Like there's only 8 points. You know what? A couple of possessions, and I ended up losing by like 14. So I paid my bill, which was ridiculous, the amount of money it cost. And I sprinted to my car to go home and decode the following day. I was like, I need to figure out why I got this wrong, and I better win the next day. And I think the next day we did.
So the next day,
man, my word.
The next day we had an even larger lock city. So we took the Warriors, and this was actually a Sunday now, and then because I believe it was Thursday Warriors, Friday Jazz, Saturday Clippers, and Sunday Warriors.
And maybe it was Saturday. Yeah,
Yeah, and mate, that Sunday we hammered the Warriors. Like
Oh,
we
like
said,
really did, didn't we? Like, didn't you? I know we don't like to say numbers, but
I don't like to say
yeah,
numbers,
we won't
but
say the
we
exact
hammered them.
number, but it was outrageous. And didn't
Outrageous.
they win it by like 18 or something as well? And they were pretty good price.
They
Like,
were
like
they were down. They were down the first half, like a few points the whole game, and
yeah,
then at the very end they got really hot, like at the very end, and I think they won by like 12. I think
yeah,
it was
yeah. The
119
Magnets,
107.
didn't they? The
If
Magnets
my
didn't.
memory's right, it's 119 107 when the Warriors beat the Kings on a Sunday. That's
Okay, but so that's
yeah.
comfortable, isn't it? If you win by double figures in the NBA, it's pretty comfortable. But they do make you sweat, don't they?
Yeah.
They do make
But
you sweat.
that chain of events was one of the funniest that I remember.
It was, but we kept going, didn't we? Like I was so close after that Clippers one to be. I had a moment where I was like, "What am I doing?" And then I sprinted to my car to go home in the cold to make sure I was right the following day. Because
No, mate, you almost didn't bet on the Warriors.
yeah, that's true. Because I was just guys. I was messaging Jay Saw whilst I was in this bar, like living the dream, and I was like, "Mate, just banged another 450 in play, baby." And then I kept doing it like every time the game like got a little bit like Clippers odds got slightly better. I was like, ooh, 700 on them as well, baby. Oh my God. Like this is my rent done for the next 4 months. All good. And it was just, I deserved it, to be honest. I got complacent, I got cocky. And we've said this before, haven't we? When you get complacent and cocky with it and you think you've mastered it, you just get slammed to the ground, don't you?
You do,
So
mate.
we don't get too carried away anymore. We don't get too big-headed with it. We know that a big loss can come, but in general, mate, since we met each other, got to know each other, every month we're up, aren't we? That's what
we are, mate.
Yeah, we always end the month up. And you've said yourself this month in January, when you lose now, you don't get emotional, you don't get upset about it as much as you used to, because you know the following day you're probably going to end up doubling what you lost the previous day. Because you and I keep doing it. And do you believe there's an element of luck with gambling, or do you think it is all about your knowledge, or do you think it's just if you persevere with it, you get what you deserve, like most things in life? How do you think it works? Somebody in my community said there's just certain people who are lucky when it comes to gambling. They're just lucky. They don't know how any of it works. They win more than the average person. Do you agree with that? How does that work?
So I think it all comes down to frequency and vibration.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I basically mean this. When I'm decoding, if I'm in a good, very positive, light, energetic state, I tend to find the lock cities much easier and it's very clear. And then when I'm forcing the issue and I'm looking at these codes, trying to really force it, is when I'm just stuck and I see this install date, but then that install date, it really has to do with our attitude and our belief system. Because if we believe we're going to lose, we're actually going to be persuaded to bet on the bets that lose. I don't know how that works. I believe it's the universe, but it is organic. And so many times, mate, we've placed bets and we kind of both knew they were going to lose, but the code was so good, but we still placed them. And now we're actually listening to that feeling, that intuition. Yes. And I really believe, mate, that we win a lot more. This month has been
this month has not been ideal for
it's been a joke, mate. Like I'll make a good amount, be in a good space, lose 3 days in a row, and then make like triple what I lost.
Yeah.
And then it repeats. It keeps repeating and it's hilarious.
Yeah, it does. But again, this system does seem to work for you in particular. It was for me. I went 9 months straight making a profit. But
yeah, that I didn't do.
Yeah, you can. Like, there was a guy in my community yesterday. You know, the Celtics were up 24.
Yeah.
So he loved my code for the Celtics, but he did what I did in the past. You know all about this with me. I was the king of cash outs, wasn't I?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was the type of guy who'd put $200 on a bet and it'd offer me like 110 profit at half time. And I'd say that's $110 I've just made in 45 minutes. I'm going to take it and hope my community.
That's smart. See, that's
Yeah,
smart.
not many people do that. I try and teach people that, but they don't want to do it for whatever reason. So this guy cashed out at halftime when Boston were killing the Knicks. And then, mate, he put money on the Knicks at plus 700. So he won both bets.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And much respect to him. Yeah, I used to do that stuff all the time. Like I'd cash out and then maybe cover myself like that. Or sometimes I wouldn't cash out and then we'd cover the team at plus 600 just in case. Or you could do the spread, couldn't you? That's when I used to win from both teams. So I'd have Boston, who were, I don't know how many points they were up at the half. But it looked
At
like
half, it was 16 or 17, but they were up 24 in the second quarter.
So what I'd do a lot there is like I'd get on Knicks plus 13. And if it became a close game and Boston still won, you win on both teams. And if Knicks win it, you've obviously covered the spread. So
yeah, that's
a very smart way of doing it. But a lot of people are so stubborn with the code or they don't want to invest more money in it because it decreases the amount that they would win if their team won. But we've seen how often in these games where you think it's game over and it's not. And it's not just the NBA, it's multiple sports. So if you can win a nice profit, just take it and stop being greedy because greed's a sin, isn't it? I know we've proven that. We've been very greedy before and we've been...
Look, I'm not a believer in sin, but I do believe that greed definitely holds us back. And,
okay, that's fair.
You know, and I do believe that that it will lead to losses for sure.
Okay. And when it comes to gambling then, what would you say? Like, it's not something people say gambling is evil and you should never gamble. I don't agree with that. And we don't go into the like evil and stuff like that. But what are your biggest tips for somebody who does like to gamble? Like, do you recommend gambling daily? Do you recommend you have to know this knowledge to do it? Would you like think about how much you're going to bet a month and put that aside? And if you lose it, okay, it's done. I can't gamble now till the next month. Like, what are your tips for people out there who do gamble or maybe have a gambling problem? There's plenty of people who do.
Yeah, I would say this because I was down a lot. So I was not profitable every single month. However, I took a 2-month break after I started decoding. For a few months, I started decoding and then I took a 2-month break. And every month since, I've been very profitable. So my advice here is basically, if you're going to gamble, I'm a bit biased because I like to look into deep decodes. I really think you got to get into this knowledge if you're going to gamble. However, you know, you could just keep your frequency high and keep your vibration high, which will definitely lead to more wins. But why not increase your odds and learn the knowledge and put the work in? And then once you do, and when I say put the work in, I'm talking about very important date durations. I'm talking about having knowledge of the exact days that each game is. For instance, if the game's on July 4th, what does that mean? You know, and then getting into, you know, date durations, gematria, different things that sync up the games, not just like, oh, you know, this player's out or this player is having good games lately. It's not about that, clearly.
It's absolutely not about that. And we've seen many times top teams have the best players out and end up winning.
Yeah, we took the Jazz over the Hawks when we knew that Donovan Mitchell was out. Once they said he was out, we took them.
Yeah, we kind of like it because we know it's going to give us better odds, don't we? Because
exactly,
we know how it works and why. We've come to the conclusion that these players most of the time are not injured. We used to debate it a lot, and now we both agree that a lot of the time they're not injured. It's to keep them on a number. Like, this guy needs to sit out because he's on 666 all-time wins. He needs to stay on that, blah, blah, or whatever it means. But this team's going to win today, so he has to be out of it because he'd gone 667. So you pick those things up, which is really interesting. But I would say with this knowledge of gematria and date durations in regards to gambling, it's best for in-play betting, mate. How many times have we seen the score at halftime and said, this is done? This is
mate.
or after the first quarter, and we're like, all right, this is done. I know they're
Mate.
down 7 right now. Let's hammer them. And we'd win. When we bet in play, we usually win because we only bet in play when we've really identified the numbers, and then all the numbers just come out and we're like, okay, shall we do it? And I know there's been a few occasions like that Clippers game where I got my pants retired. In general, in play, and I always tell my community, they always like, how did you win all that money? I was like, in play. In play is how I won my money. But the reason I'm not gambling now is because I don't want to be spending my whole evening watching these games to get on them in play, because that's what these guys want. They want my energy. We had this conversation about an hour ago. They don't really care if we win a bit of money. It's monopoly money. They don't care. They're not losing anything. They want our energy. That's their big goal. Like,
exactly.
if we won 30 grand, why are they going to give a shit when it's just what is the
They're not going to care.
Not working?
They don't care.
Yeah, people always think it's about money. It's to take your money. It's more about taking your energy. And yes, when you lose money, they take more of your energy for sure. But it's not about money, whatever they.
I know. Oh, I know, because people always say to me, like, with what, we're not going to talk about it, but the stuff going on, they always say it's about money, and I'm like,
oh no, yeah.
I'm like, look, it's not about money. They print money. Why would you think it's about money if they can make as much as they want? It's not about that. It's about energy.
Yeah, it is. And we've really come to that conclusion that everything is about energy, and money.
Everything.
Money is just a control tool, and it people give their energy to money, don't they? They give their energy.
Money itself is not bad. It's people's relationship with money that
people's obsession with it as well. With it, like, and again, we like to be comfortable. We like to be able to go for dinner and not have to worry about it and stuff like that. But again, you don't need all the other stuff. You don't need 7 cars and 4 houses and all the other stuff that people think they need. No.
On the contrary, I will say one thing is that we are born with the birthright of abundance, and
yes,
they make us think that we're not worthy of having a lot, or not, that we don't deserve it. But mate, we absolutely do. We do, and they have all the resources for it. So it's not like
you said I have the millionaire card, didn't you? That I should be a millionaire with my astrology.
You will. You are a millionaire, and you are just, it's just on its way to you.
Possibly. I don't know if I'd ever want to be a millionaire. It'd be nice, but the fact that I have the millionaire card is pretty interesting, because I've always done jobs in my life, mate, that I've always loved to do, but they've never been high-paying jobs like teaching and coaching, and even this Patreon. It brings in money for me, but I've never done a job where I'm like getting crazy money. People have always said you should work in sales. You could make this amount of money with your charm and this and that.
You could, mate.
I don't want to do it. I don't have any interest in doing it. My spirit's not within it, and I don't care about how much money I could make. But I wouldn't want to be poor, mate. I wouldn't want to be struggling to put food. That's not a way I'd want to live either. But
I tell you about your lives, mate, and I tell you about your charm. Is it's wild that you have a lot of influence, and it's very positive. So I think that when people say that, I do think it's a compliment, No,
I'm very grateful, like the fact that you tune into my lives. I always call you out about how good you are and what a great person you are and how you inspire me and stuff like that. So our relationships pretty immense, mate. It's fantastic. Just 2 organic guys who are very, very intelligent, but not like tricks with it.
Yeah, and honestly, so to bring up another highs and lows of gambling, when you said I don't get emotional anymore, I want to touch on that.
Not as. I think we always get emotional, but not as.
Well, to be honest, mate, like when yesterday I lost on a couple games, and I'll be honest with you, mate, I literally had no visible emotional reaction.
Amazing.
And it's wild seeing where I've come, because 2 months ago I would have been so down on myself, like, oh, I got the code wrong and I lost money, whatever. But no, man, like, I know whenever I lose, it always means there's a huge bounce back code that I'm gonna find, and it always happens. Always happens.
Yeah, and we really do believe in the universe, and we do believe everything happens for a reason. And we know it's all part of the show. It's all part of our story, and it's all part of our growth. And you're not going to win every single bet. Like, what, mate, how many times has this happened? Just so you can back me up here with my Patreon.
Yeah.
How many times will I tell you, like, all right, mate, today I think the Hornets, the Rockets, and Golden State win. And then Hornets and Rockets win plus money, and then I'll post Golden State. That'll be the only thing I post, and that loses. But I'll tell you, this team, this team, this team. I'll maybe tell you 4 games. 3 of them hit, and the only one I seem to freaking post recently on Patreon is the one that misses, and the other 3 I had codes and I didn't post. So why do you think that is? Like, what's the universe doing to me there? Is it telling me you need to post all 4 and have confidence in yourself? Because I'd often go for the one with like, I don't know, I'd post the one where the team's the favorite. I don't like posting dogs unless it's like plus 150, plus 120. And I know somebody like you don't care, do you? If you see the code and the team's plus 500, you're like, you love that. Whereas it puts me off. But you love that, and more often than not, you win on big dogs because you just know it's the code. It doesn't matter about the odds. It's this code hits. Whereas I get a little bit nervous with massive prices. So why do I often call so many games perfectly, but then recently only post the ones that miss? What is that all about, do you think?
Well, it's funny because like when I hear that, I just think of, in my own life and how whenever I tell someone a team's going to win beforehand, it loses. And then they think, I don't know what I'm doing. But then literally the next day I'll get 7 out of 8 right. And I will not have told them anything. And so I think the answer is, I think if you like 4 teams, mate, you post them all. And even if, on the worst days, maybe 2 are right or whatever, you're still getting 2 right at good value. With, you said they were dogs. So, I mean, you get 3 out of 4 right, mate, almost every day. You're telling me these 3 teams win, 2 out of 3 win, and you post the one that lost. It doesn't make sense to me.
And isn't it funny how you can maybe post 3 codes on Patreon and only get 1 right, but you're up for the day because it was like a plus 300 that hit or plus 400. So you're actually up even though you only got 1 out of 3. It's
absolutely.
Or you can get 5 out of 5. There's people's Patreons, mate, who are posting teams to win who are like minus 1,600 to win and then calling.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I never ever do that. My posts, it's always like a team who's around plus 100. Like where you can make nice money back. I don't often do the big dogs. I'll probably do it and then say,
mate, how much did we love the Hawks over the Sixers when the Hawks were plus 285 and we both chickened out of it and then they won?
Mate, they went up to plus 450 on mine. I told you that they were plus 450.
Oh, mate, and we chickened out. We both
we were a week ahead, and I've got other people in my community who know that I liked Atlanta in that game. They were plus 450. And
yeah, we decoded that a week ahead of time, and then we didn't even take it.
I know, but thankfully on that day we won everything, didn't we? It's just like we were like, imagine we had the Hawks as well. We actually had It didn't hurt as much because the things we did pick, they won. But the 450, mate, that's the equivalent of winning like almost 5 plus 100 bets, and people forget that as well. A lot of people are obsessed with what's your percentage of wins. No, it should be like what's your percentage of
quality.
Like how much you staked to how much profit you won. And we're all different with that. Like some guys bet $5 to win 5. Other guys are betting $5,000 to win $5,000. Like it varies. That's why people's emotions can be different after the game, because they can win so much or they can win a little or they'll lose a load or barely lose anything. Just bet what you can afford is what I say. Yeah,
and like, percentage wise in the last week, I've been absolutely horrific. But if you ask me not like me, you're right. But mate, if you asked me the week before that, I had 7 out of 8 right in college. And then I had
5 out of 6.
Maybe was that? No, that was this week, actually.
Yeah, you're killing college, aren't you? A lot of people don't decode college, but you're absolutely outstanding at decoding college, and I'm getting involved in it now.
But even then, this week has been horrific for me as far as like percentage wise. Profit wise, I'm fine, but percentage wise. However, there was a run, I think, mate, was it, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was like the second to last week in December, and I was just getting everything right.
Yeah, it's like you won't get anything wrong. It was outrageous. Like, we won't talk into what you won, but my God, yeah. And I know this, guys. I can confirm this because me and Jay Soul speak a lot. We discuss our codes. We show them. It's not just him telling me, "Oh, I won this amount of money. I called these." No, we do it hours or days before. So this is not just two guys talking about how, oh, well, I thought we'd win that. We back it up. We show each other. Sometimes we code together. We'll go on FaceTime, and we've done some of our best work doing that. Some of the stuff we find, and we approach it differently as well. But our codes always connect. And when we both feel them, we really feel it, and we love the code, they don't lose. But there's many times where we love the code, and one of us is still a bit, I'm like, Jay Saul, but I'm not quite sure about these odds. Or Jay Saul, there's that little thing for Cleveland. I'm not, okay, screw it. I'm still going to back the team because of the code. But now like you said, we're like, okay, this sucks. We've just spent 30 minutes decoding this game. Move on to the next one. Because we find one thing for the other team that's monumentally huge.
Yeah.
It can be frustrating. We saw yesterday with the Knicks that they could go 9-11 at home. You and I thought that was a huge trap. We thought New York 9-11.
I know. Why would they just do that? That was so annoying.
Yeah, it seemed too obvious. And like the average decoder would have seen that and thought Lock City. And in the past, it wouldn't have been. They would have.
Right, exactly. That's the point, is that it's hit or miss. Yeah.
However, more often miss, though. More often miss. But people think it's a guaranteed lock because of the connection with 9-11 in New York. But it hit after it came back from 24 down.
So wild, mate.
Yeah. But it is fun, is it? Every code we do is educational.
Yes.
You grow, you get better, you only learn more from it. And overall, yeah, depending on how you bet and how smart you are with it and betting in play and all of that, you end the month up, but it can be exhausting. It's why you've stopped watching the games, haven't you? You won't watch your game anymore. You'll go for
I won't watch them because I know that, like, for instance, the other day I took the Raptors live when they were down 8 because I knew, it was
against Bucks, wasn't it? It was against Milwaukee, like the reigning champions.
Yeah, and they were down 8, and I knew the code, and I took them live, and I turned it off. And then when I turned it back on, I messaged Illusion, I messaged Adam. I said, look, I said they're up 8.
They were up by 8, and they killed it, didn't they? And
yeah, they won by double digits, I believe.
Yeah, they killed it. So, guys, when you are betting, like in the past, it used to wind me up. When I was on Patreon, during these games, getting all these messages, guys, it would be 2 minutes into the first quarter, and somebody had messaged me like, "Illusion, they're down by 6." I'm like, mate, it's 8-2. They've just started, and you're crying about it. Like, relax. Like, message me when there's 2 minutes left in the fourth, maybe. Don't message me after 2 minutes of the first quarter saying the game's over because your team's down by 6. Pretty ridiculous.
Absolutely.
It's kind
Absolutely.
of in any sport, even if you're in the NFL and your team's down 14-0 after the first quarter, it don't really mean anything because it's just so, whatever the code is, it's gonna be fulfilled.
And I've seen so many games. Mate, I remember before I kind of woke up to this stuff, I remember I was at a game and the team I was rooting for, they were up 18-2 to start the game and they lost by like 9.
Yeah.
And I was like shocked. I was a little bit I wasn't that disappointed. I was a little disappointed, but I was like, how did that happen? I remember that was years ago. And now I'm thinking about it and I'm like, that happens all the time. Not the 18-2 thing, but the 16-point deficit being erased. That happens all the time.
Exactly. But you and I now, we don't watch the games because we're not betting in play.
Yeah.
The code. You're betting more than I am now because I basically stopped. But I'm not saying I've quit gambling forever, guys, at all. It's just, it feels right. I do what feels right to me. I'm not a guy who plans ahead too much. I do what feels right. Maybe tomorrow I'll place a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I won't bet for the rest of the month. Who knows? But
Yeah, I'm like,
not watching these games. We know what they're doing. It's energy harvesting. Like in
yeah.
the NBA, mate, every shot, every foul, every missed free throw, every poor decision, it screws you, doesn't it? And then it goes to that last minute, and there's about 97 timeouts. The last minute lasts like 40 minutes. And you're like, what am I doing with my life? So I love your mindset of place the bet, believe in your code, bet money you can afford to lose, and check your phone at the end or check it at halftime and see what's going on. And you say more often than not, when you do that, you win. But when you watch it, it's like, that's the thing we hate. We hate giving our energy to people who don't deserve it, don't we?
Yeah, because they didn't earn it.
Yeah, we feel really dirty for that. That's the thing with me. I
Like,
feel dirty.
I love,
to them.
mate, if someone I really care about contacts me and says, "Hey, can we talk or whatever," right? So I'll be like, "Yeah, sure." I'm happy to give them the energy, mate, but these people I've never met in my life that don't care about me, why would I give them so much of my energy, my precious energy? And I speak to all of you listening, whether you believe it or not, if you are watching the games, you are giving energy, and nothing wrong with that. If you do that, it's fine, but just know, that is an energetic transfer. So whenever you focus your consciousness on something, you're giving it energy.
Exactly. And we do give our energy to coding, but it's educational. We learn, we grow from it.
And it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's no different to, I don't know, reading a book or playing an instrument or shooting some hoops or whatever it is other people like to do.
Yeah.
I find it enjoyable, and you find stuff, and more often than not, it hits. That on my YouTube channel, I've done so many videos that have been perfection, and I don't hit everything because I'd be world famous if I hit every single game. I'd be world famous. But
absolutely.
I kind of like I like being wrong sometimes because it fuels the fire. Like
it does.
Yeah, like when my parents had a pool table in the basement. We had a really nice basement, and I would much rather play a mate first to 10 at pool and beat him 10-9 than beat him 10-0.
Absolutely.
I would love it to go to that last game. I love all of that. I don't like when I coach. I told you this as a footballer. I'm a decent player.
You're amazing, mate.
I didn't like scoring 11 goals in a game. I hated it. It didn't give me anything. But you get that winning goal in a 2-1 win. Oh God, that is glorious.
The best feeling, mate.
Yeah, and let's quickly though, let's be honest here. Let's discuss the highs of winning a big amount of money. It's exhilarating, isn't it? Let's not lie.
Okay,
let's not lie about that. It's exhilarating winning huge amounts of money.
It's shocking, and it's like shocking to the point of like you don't believe it happened for a long time.
It takes a lot to process. When like big money, you're like, what did I just win there in 2 hours? Did this really? And then we start saying, God, this takes people 4 months to make that, and we just made it in 2 hours. And then the day after, we down like with and then we win it all back, and then we calm down. Then we're like, you know what? This is a classic one with Solution. This is our name, Solution Tag Team Champion.
Solution.
And J Soul, Solution. And what it is, we do these huge bets, like huge, and then we'd be like, all right, mate, listen. If we just do like $12 bets and then it pays for maybe like I can like, I don't know, I can like go for an ice cream as well. I'm really happy with that. And we're like, and Jay Soul's like, Adam, that's genius. That is so true. That is true. 3 days later that we go back to putting like insanely big bets on. It was so funny. I was like, yeah, mate. If
I'll be like, mate.
If we could just win enough where I can just buy like a loaf of bread, I'm gonna be happy with that. I'm just kidding myself, to be honest. I was kidding myself.
There was a time when I said to you, we're gonna do only, I think it was only $20 bets.
I think one time you said $5. I said, no way, mate. I can't do
No, no,
$5 bet.
no. I think it was $20, and I said I'm gonna keep a spreadsheet. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, Adam never opens a spreadsheet once,
No, not
and
one. Yeah, couldn't be
not
bothered.
one time. He's like, yeah, add it to my spreadsheet. And then we had a couple days green, and then it just red.
Yeah, it went red. I was like, I'm done with this spreadsheet.
He goes, I'm done, mate. It's time for a big bet.
Yeah, and then we won it. I think we started off like green, and we were like, all right, mate. We said it, didn't we? Because we're not being greedy, that we'd win every pick if we're not greedy. And we won like the first three. And then I think we lost like 6 in a row. And I was like, mate, do these bullshit $20 bets. I'm gonna go like 800 on this team. And like, all those bets I've lost, I'm gonna win it all back and more. And then it won. But it was just so funny that we kidded ourselves, to be honest, that we were going to do little $20 bets.
There was so much red on that spreadsheet that I just deleted the file. I just said, you know what? This is not a good thing. So
it's so funny though.
We do better without it. We definitely do.
Yeah. So there's definitely lots of highs, definitely lots of lows with this. If it ever gets to the point where it is affecting you mentally and like, I don't know, your family life or your financial stability and stuff like that, you have to take a break.
You got to take a break.
And you can take a break for different reasons. I took my break because I didn't want to watch the games anymore. And because I wanted to give my energy elsewhere. And I've had an amazing 6 or 7 weeks because of that. I'm still coding. I still do amazing codes and stuff like that. However, that's why I stopped. It wasn't money because I was winning money. I was paying all my rent, everything through gambling, like comfortably. On top of it, and I had my Patreon money coming in, which was bonus. But again, I'll always say to my dad, I spoke to him today, thank you, Dad. He said, Adam, I don't care how much money you're making. You're giving so much energy to these people and these sports. Is it really worth it? Like who you're hanging out with now? Who do you socialize with? I said, no one, Dad. I'm basically, I work a little bit and then I'm just watching sports in the evening. He said, I didn't raise you to be like that, Adam. You're too good for that. And I was like, shit, Dad, my word. And since he did that to me and said that to me, I do believe my YouTube videos have gone to a different level. My just everything about me. Like you said, like, Adam, you sound like so positive and inspiring, and you had a few weeks where you just seemed like you was so low, and like, because I felt so dirty giving my energy every night to these games every day of the week, mate. And now, like, I keep an eye on the results and stuff because I post codes, and if my community wins, I'm delighted for them. If it misses, I do feel like shit when it misses, but I don't get hard. I don't hammer myself anymore because I work my ass off. I put a code. I think that's the code. And when it is, it's perfect. And when it's not, I missed it. Sorry. And learn how to code yourself as well. There was one guy yesterday who said, Illusion, I love your Boston code, but I think my Knicks code's better. I'm sticking with the Knicks. God bless him because he won.
God bless him.
Yeah, and I love that. I'm not here to be a guru who thinks he's right about everything, but I will definitely inspire you and I'll help you grow. But don't come to my Patreon thinking that I'm gonna win 90 picks out of 90 in the month because you're kidding yourself for $10. It's pretty embarrassing that people do think that, to be honest.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that. Yeah, I took a long break after I lost a lot, and I just came back and said, okay, things are going to be different this time. And I kid you not, like I didn't even believe I could make that money back within 3 years or whatever. But
incredible what you did, mate, and what you've done.
It's incredible. I made it all back in, I think, 2 to 3 months, at least 3 months, but maybe 2 months, and then now I'm way up. But just so y'all know, if you do have a problem, with gambling, or you're losing a lot, or it's just not working out, you got to take a break.
You have to, guys. You have to.
You have to.
It's going to eat you. It's going to eat away of you. And like Jay and Sol and I said, if you code when you're desperate or you gamble when you're desperate and your frequencies are low, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose when you force things in general in life. When you really force it, it don't usually work out. You know what I mean? Like the organic element will provide positivity for you. So yeah, that's some really good advice there, because I know personally there's people who are really having a hard time with gambling, and I'll give them advice. But again, at the end of the day, when it comes to gambling or anything like that, it is on the person. It's on you, like what you stake, how much you like the code, how much you're willing to lose, how much you're willing to sacrifice to do it, how much energy you're willing to give. That's not on me. That's not on your mates or your family or whoever it is. It's on you. And if you can't handle a loss, or you're giving too much energy to gambling, just stop or reduce your stake or make changes. Because if you're consistently feeling down and fed up and you're doing nothing about it, you almost need a slap in the face, don't you? But it slap you and like, stop bitching about it. The people who know they have a problem and they know what they need to do to change it and can't, I don't have much sympathy. Yeah, I'm so fat. Well, work out then. I'm not being too harsh here. Like you today were at the gym. You had an amazing workout. I went for a run and then went for ramen. I felt today like, you know what? I feel recently I haven't done enough exercise. I knew that. So I was like, right, I'm going for a run. Bang, put my clothes on. I didn't just say, oh, I feel a bit lazy. Oh, screw it. I'm going to stay in my bed. So I think like if you know you have a problem with gambling, you really know, because there's a lot of people, mate, they're not aware of it. They're not aware that they have an addiction or a problem. They're not aware.
Wow.
And I can't really judge them. But if you know you have an issue and you're not even at least attempting to improve the situation, very hard for me to have sympathy for you. Too harsh.
We create our reality, and if you want to be a victim, that's fine, but don't expect people to allow you to leech off their energy. I would say,
I like that. Yeah, that's a great point.
I would say if you do have a problem, or maybe you're down a lot and you want to make it all back or whatever, I would say like maybe like become a better decoder, and because whatever you're doing may not be working. And for instance, for me, like I said, the last couple days have been kind of horrific. I need to refine my skills clearly, and I need to uplift my vibration, very clearly. So as long as you know what you got to do, which I believe we all know, I believe there are no gurus, and that you know what you need to do. That is a very strong belief of mine.
You've got to trust your instincts as well. You're so harsh on yourself, mate. I think in your last 40 picks, I bet you're 30 out of 40.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I'm telling you, mate, because you'll
probably.
You really remember your losses like me. You hate it. And like you said, the amount of times you've gone 6 out of 7, 5 out of 6, 4 out of 5. It's
many times.
Beyond a joke, more often than not, mate. But then you have that one day where you get 3 out of 3 wrong. You will not let it. That's just at the front of your brain. That's the thing you think of. And it's like, I know, okay, keep a spreadsheet, figure it out. But mate, you are very harsh on yourself. Like, you don't need to change that much. Sometimes it's like, how many times have we missed a pick and it's right when like somebody's majors died on that day, like an hour before?
Yeah, or like they played the team again and it was like the next game that
so many times, mate. And what about yesterday or the day before? Every game in the NBA was about Dirk Nowitzki retiring that number 41.
Yeah, it was.
And that happened. I didn't even know about that. And like Golden State Warriors coach gets his 179th regular season loss, the 41st prime, and Dallas is 41 and Warriors is 41. That 41 jersey gets retired. Kyrie Irving comes back, gets his first points 41 weeks after his birthday. So it was all about that one number. That's why there's times with you and I where we have gone like 7 out of 7 because we've identified the pattern of that day, and it's in every sport. How many times I said to you, you're not into soccer at all, and I've said, mate, all the numbers that we've said are going to happen in the NBA just happened in the Premier League. Exact.
Oh, it's such good confirmation whenever that happens.
When I say that those numbers hit in the NBA, don't they? We like have a perfect day.
We sure do.
You only need 2 or 3 of those perfect days, man. And if you got on it, if you got on 6 of those games and you found out what the riddle was for that day, because we know they're sync up all sports, all entertainment is synced up by a code. Who knows who's fully responsible, but it is, including college, which we're proving now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have days like that. And you can have a day like when we're 3 out of 3 wrong, it's because we've missed the big number for that day. We've missed it. And then all those 3 games you missed will all have one major thing in common for the other team.
Mate, you know the funny part with, it was 3 for 3 yesterday wrong. One of them, or 2 of them were within 1 score, and then actually at the moment I forget what the third was, but I just remember the Knicks coming back, and then I did a college game, and it was I think they lost by 1. It was crazy.
So many buzzer beaters, mate. What about the Spurs the other day? Like they were up by 2 and they lost. They lost by 1 with a last second 3 against the Pistons. It's beyond a joke.
No, it's funny because I think I've lost on buzzer beaters 4 times in the last week, which is wild.
Did you see the Knicks became 9-11 at home this season? And you remember J.R. Smith?
Yeah.
So he hit a buzzer beater 9 years and 11 days before this game.
No way.
9-11 at home. Yeah, a buzzer beater against the Suns.
Wow.
And then RJ Barrett. I think it was RJ Barrett, no, with the buzzer beater.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, these numbers, it's like insane.
Mate, you know what's funny?
But we don't always, to be honest, mate, we always find the numbers, don't we? And then we edge towards one another. So every number that happens, we pretty much find it, but we're like, I think this team has a slightly better riddle. Let's do this, and a slightly better price or whatever it is. But we'll always find immense stuff for the other. And then it's literally is like, which one do you prefer? And more often than not, we will get the one right that we prefer. But how many times we're like, oh my God, we said that, mate, exactly that. And it's exactly what happened. And you're like, my goodness, we actually had the exact code and then we changed it. We did it recently, didn't we, with Cleveland and Memphis? We said 100% Memphis. We typed the code up. I was about to post it. And then maybe it was my bad. I was like, mate, I've just found something huge for Cleveland. Huge.
No, mate, I think we both did.
Oh, we both did. We're like, Cleveland, I've got this. This is definitely revelation. Cleveland, I've got this. And what about the fact that we both didn't tell each other that Cleveland 6-6 win, and we both saw it and we just kept our mouth shut? They hurt.
So funny.
They hurt when you both adamant on a team, and then one thing leads to another, and then the team that we were so adamant about win, and you post the code for the other team. You're like, shit. That's why sometimes I'm like, should I just do classic Zach Hubbard here and post for both teams a pick and then act like I'm a guru? Should I do that and then do a video saying, hey guys, this is why this team won? Even though it's for both teams. Should I do that and let people make their own decisions? It's not really in my DNA, baby, to do anything like that. I kind of like, this is what I want. This is what I think. This is what I'm leaning towards. I'm going to post that. I do have big balls when it comes to that, because I could play it so safe. I could play it so safe by doing that, but I don't want it. I know how annoying it was when I followed him doing that. I'm like, okay, mate, so which one do I pick?
It's never a clear pick.
Yeah, do I just flip a coin here then? Because basically that's what you're telling me. Flip a coin here. Or he would say cover both to be safe. Cover both to be safe. That's like covering every number on the roulette table. And I say, I told you you'd win if you did that. It's outrageous, mate. But is there any final thoughts here? Like for me, gambling's not a bad thing if you're in control of it. It can be a magical thing. You can win a nice amount of money. It does bring you joy, but it also can really bring you down. It can really take your energy at the same time. So, what shall we leave it with, Jay? So, like, I'm not going to tell people stop gambling, because I have no right to do that, and it's not. I don't think I'm ever going to completely stop doing it. Just like I occasionally drink, but I don't drink every day. I'll occasionally drink. I'm not going to have somebody tell me, Adam, never drink again in your life. But it's everything's in moderation and balance, isn't it, mate? So you're really smart.
Adam, never drink again.
Yeah. What's your final thoughts here, mate? Because you are a really, really wise person and honest. So whether it's your personal experience or just gambling in general, what's your final thoughts for people who are listening to this in regards to gambling?
Adam, never drink again.
No, mate. I think I'm going for a few beers tonight. But yeah, I never drink to get drunk, to be honest. Not anymore. So
I would say this. I would say you got to do what's best for you. And to not have shame, because if you're down a lot, like the trap of trying to make it back, like, yeah, I did make all of the money back, but it was after I surrendered and just basically didn't even believe I would make it back. Something just told me, okay, NFL's starting. Let's, get back into this. Let's see what happens. And it was magic. And
yeah.
And there were highs and lows. I'd make a lot and then I'd lose 75% of what I made, but I was always playing with profits. So listen to this, is that take a break if things are not working out. Don't force anything. Just allow. And when you're placing the bets, don't place an amount that would make you emotional. Just anything you're willing to lose, but you'd be joyful if you won. And keep working to be a better decoder. That's what I think.
Brilliant, mate. My thing is, like, you know what my comfortable number is now? It's $100.
I love that, mate.
I was betting crazy money, and you know that, and as were you. But I'll bet $100 where if I win 100 or 150, I am really happy because that can get me a lot of things. Like my mate from Texas was over for 5 days, and we were going for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And honestly, over a 5-day period, all those meals, it only came up to about $200. And I was like, okay, a couple of winning bets, like that covers breakfast, lunch, and dinner with my friend in a beautiful place in Mexico. And I love that for that. So that's my advice. Like, I will never bet $5 ever again, mate. I did that when I was five quid, tenner when I was like 18 to 20. I'll never go back to doing that. I don't see the point in putting $5 on a team, and I don't do parlays. We never discussed this. I'm not a parlay guy. I think
I'm not either.
A team's going to ruin you, and you're going to get upset. The amount of people, I got 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7, 4 out of 5, 2 out of 3. I'm like, mate, if you'd have done singles, you'd be absolutely laughing. But then again, if they do single, the reason they do these parlays, bro, is because they don't have much money to lose. So they can only afford to risk $10 for the week. So they have, if they're chasing the big money, they have to do that. And that's where the trap is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll lose more money in the, like,
in the long run. Yeah, they're going to hit 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. So if they hit 1 out of 10, I mean, depending on the odds, they're probably down either way.
Overall, yeah, but they'll always remember the one that they won. And yeah. What other advice? And there was something else.
Yeah, I'm not a big parlay. There's round robins where
yeah,
you can get 1 or 2 wrong and still make some money. But I actually don't do very well in round robin. I like singles, or if you are to parlay, I think what Adam's saying here is that basically parlaying like 5 teams. But if you parlay 2 confident picks, that's different. It's not, I mean, it's still a parlay, but it's not like, when you hear the word parlay, you think, like Uncut Gems, when he like had all these different player props and different things. It's like, do
you remember we rarely ever parlay, but we had one where we were like, this is
we got to talk about that.
Yeah, we never parlay, myself and Jay, so we just don't do it. But there was these 3 codes that they were all perfectly synced up, and we felt it supreme confidence. And we knew if they won, we didn't have to stake much because it was a big prize. So we put like $100 on to win 720, and 720 is the moon landing the day. And we always discuss the moon landing in our codes. And that's when the Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA finals. And they all cruised in, didn't they? Like from a reasonably small stake, we won a huge amount. We won the parlay and we were delighted. And but it's very rare for us to want to do a parlay because all that hard work and then maybe you get 2 out of 3.
Well, we had that day. So that day we had, there's only, I'll be honest, if I'm being really truthful, I would say it's kind of an almost every once in a while thing where you find a really, really lock city.
Yeah, where you can't even comprehend the thought of
right
losing. You just
right.
You just know.
And we had two that day, but we also had one really good one. It wasn't locked, but it was really good. That was the Lakers. That was the first game.
Really got value up, didn't it, if we added the parlay?
Yeah, and what we said was, look, if the Lakers win, our parlay is still alive, and we're betting a smaller amount.
Yes.
So it's not a big deal if the Lakers.
That's what it was. Yes, mate. That's what it was. That was the earlier game, wasn't it? And
yes.
we were like, if that misses, we know the other 2 is like in our head 90%, so we'll just parlay them. We knew that.
Yeah, and they cruised. I think they won by double digits or
they absolutely cruised. I think all 3.
Yeah, they cruised.
All 3 of them cruised, which is really rare in itself.
Yeah, they cruised, and then once that happened, we didn't even place a bet on the second game. We just we were all like adrenaline and stuff, and they ended up cruising as well the second game. And
yeah, we even said then, didn't we? We said somehow if this second team misses, we'll just hammer the third game because I think that was our most confident one.
Exactly, and and that's what we did. We bet on the third game, and it won.
Yeah, that was a really good day. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of parlaying, but I get why people do it. But listen, when you're throwing $5 or $10, $20 on a 5-teamer, you're not winning, guys. Like it is literally 1 out of 10, and you just basically, if you get a little bit of joy and entertainment from it, like no different to when people go to the movies or whatever it is, and you're just doing it for that an hour and a half, 2 hours of the day. Remember me and my boys back in England, we'd do that when I didn't have this knowledge that I have now. I would do parlays. I'd do something it was called both teams to score, Jay, so you've probably not heard of it, but like if both teams score in the soccer game, you win. So if it finishes 1-1 or 2-1 or 2-2 or 3, whatever it is. So with a bet like that, you have it for the whole 90 minutes, which is why I like it. Because in football, you can have a bet on a team that could be 3-0 down at halftime, and 90% of the time that's game over in soccer, football. But with both teams to score, you'd be there and you're watching it come in. Yes, you're like, this shitty team from the 3rd division just scored. And you get all excited. So you get a buzz from it for $10 or $15. If you win it, I was like, if this wins, it pays for my whole night out, my taxi, my pizza at the end of the night. That's what my mindset. And if it loses, like I had a lot of like this big adrenaline rush for like a tenner, which I didn't give a shit about losing. That was a nice way of gambling where it was fun, but there was profit to be made. But when I lost, I didn't feel anything. Unless maybe I had that both teams to score and I only need one team to score. And in the 95th minute, a team misses a penalty that could have won me 200 quid. That's when it's like, that's when it would aggravate me. But in general, it never took my energy.
Yeah, and that is a good way to do it because like ultimately, as long as you're not, because the energy transfer is A, by watching the games, and then B, if you like hard on yourself, like Adam was saying,
overreacting.
Yeah, it's overreacting. And now I am still critical of like, getting my codes right, but I don't get emotional with it. So like, that's my thing is if you lose and you don't feel emotional and you're breathing and you feel good, then that's fine. But if you're getting emotional or you're having a reaction, I think you lessen your stake and you maybe...
You and I as well, mate. You can't underestimate this. You and I are ultra competitive. We don't like to be wrong. We don't like to lose. And sometimes that hurt me more than losing money. When I was really comfortable with money, I'm like, oh, whatever, I lost a couple $100, but my freaking code missed. And I thought it was this, that, and the other. I thought it was nailed on. And like you said, I told my brother, my sister, my uncle, the fisherman, the local newsagent guy, the guy who sells avocados at the bottom of my street, the Miami Heat, Lock City, baby. All of you put all your money on it. Miami lose by 43. And it's like, Adam, really? Like, you kidding me? And then I'll be like, oh, why every time I tell the people I truly love, it misses. And then, like you said, you don't say anything, you get 7 out of 8. And like, what?
Exactly.
I've just seen your YouTube video, Adam. You just got 4 out of 4 last night. Cheers for the heads up. I'm like, mate, if I would have told you, I would have got 0 out of 4 yesterday. That's out in my mind.
That's how it feels, doesn't it?
It does feel like that, which it doesn't make sense, because with the universe, you think you're trying to help people. Should you not be rewarded? But sometimes that's literally not how the world works. Like, you're trying so hard to help each other or help others, but maybe, like what we said earlier, I think there's such thing as trying too hard.
Yeah.
You're forcing it. You're forcing it.
And like part of it, like if we're both being honest here, like
Yeah,
part of us wants to be right because like we can show them that,
there's an ego
believe.
part. There's definitely
Right,
an ego
right.
as well, to be like, yeah, there's definitely an ego element to it, but
Yeah.
it's a punch in the bollocks, isn't it, when you're wrong? When you send your doubters the code that you think is Lock City and it misses, after maybe you got 5 out of 5 and you feel so confident, you're like, I'm going to set this one, can't miss. You send it to everyone in your phone book, and 90% of them don't really believe in what you're doing. And then,
exactly.
the team loses. It's like, I told you. Everyone loves that, don't they? I told you, Adam, you're wasting your time with this. It's like, all right, mate. And then before you know it, they're on my Patreon supporting me. It's like, okay.
Exactly.
That feels really good. But we don't have to prove anything to anyone. Another thing I think you and I only recently have got to this point. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Yourself. Yeah. It's like, okay, I missed. All right. Are you going to cry about it? Whatever. Leave my Patreon. I'm not even bothered if that's your way of outlook on life. I'm at that point now where I don't know. It is what it is. And I just trust the universe is going to look after me. I know you'll have shitty days with this, but in general, this is sacred knowledge, mate, isn't it? And we try and do more with it than just decode sports. It's sacred.
It is, mate. It is. And you know what? Even if somehow, mate, and I know this won't happen because I have faith in the universe and I know that we're totally in sync.
Yeah.
Even if we were to lose a lot, even in the future, unlock cities, whatever else, mate, it was so worth it, this journey. And it is so worth it because I've had more joy and more fun and felt more self-worth because of this beautiful art that we've been cultivating than anything that I can think of in the last few years. So I'm truly grateful.
I just got shivers down my whole body. No word of a lie when you said that, because
I
can resonate with that. This is way more than money now. I always got called out. You're just trying to take people's money with this. You're a scam artist. It's like, never ever was that my intention to get rich from this. And it is this journey. My community is like, I had a stage, mate, no word of a lie. I was alone in Mexico around nobody who had this knowledge, where I was like, am I the only guy in the world with this outlook on life? Is there something wrong with me? I did have a few doubts, and I'm one of the most confident ever meet, mate. And then I came across Discord. Then I did come across Geometry Effect News. Then, like, if it wasn't for Discord, I wouldn't have found you. Then I'm inspired to create my own YouTube channel. Then there's other people leaving comments, agreeing with me. At the beginning, I was like, shit, it's not just me. It isn't just me that's thinking this way. And the more I'm putting out content, which I put out every single day, I feel like there really is like a huge shift. Maybe we got to the party before everybody else, mate. And then we thought, like, I don't know, maybe we thought God, we got invited to this party and it was just a big scam and like it's just a joke to get me here to be here all alone. And then no, everybody starts cruising in. It's like, hey, Illusion, how's it going? Legend, blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like now everything we've gone through with this information and knowledge, the good and bad with it, mate, there's thousands of people waking up, and you and I are playing a major role in that. Like, we're not heroes or anything, but we really are inspiring people. I hope this here, what we're doing right now, inspires people, because that's what we want to do. We don't want to be famous. We don't want to be famous. We don't want to be mega rich with it. We just want to inspire and grow, don't we? And help each other and laugh along the way. And because times can be difficult, times can be hard. And when times are difficult and hard, you've got to find positive outlooks on life. You've got to make each other laugh. You've got to smile, because they want us to be miserable, don't they? They want us to be sad.
Smile real big.
Yeah, I mentioned that recently in the live with the smile. Your laugh, mate, is contagious. Your laughing is just unbelievable. Look at that laugh, guys. His laugh's outrageous. And like, it's so funny when I would hear him laugh. Like, even when we'd lose big money, he'd do that laugh, because like the Joker, it's like, why so serious? It is what it is. And when we'd
win, no, mate. No, I'm no Joker, mate.
Well, I am. I am a bit of a Joker.
Yeah, that's you. That's you, mate. I don't know how many times you've sent me Joker gifts on.
Yeah, well, I dressed up as the Joker, didn't I? One time, I looked at like exactly like the Joker. I was called the Joker at school as well. I was always the guy telling jokes. What about Djokovic, the prick, who's known as the Joker? And Jokic is known as the Joker as well, isn't he? In the NBA, who just got the MVP. He's called the Joker, his nickname.
He got the MVP.
Yeah, in the regular season, and then Giannis got it in the finals. But I did a video, mate. I said how Jokic would be the regular season MVP like 4 months before, and he won. He got it.
Honestly, he's not exciting to me, and I know it's I know how it is, but he's not exciting.
Yeah, he's a big goon. The guy who was drafted 41st pick, that big number, 41st pick. Did you know that?
That's wild, because Dirk was another big guy, and he was number 41.
Yeah, and we know all about 41 with Kobe and then dying at that age. So that number's enormous. But we've said before, they can make whoever they want to be the star in it. Look what they've done with Trae Young, who's an absolute rat. He's a rat, but they let him just walk through the basket. And he hits these ridiculous threes with those little puny arms. I'm surprised he can throw it that far, mate. He does have that master number on the back of his jersey, doesn't he? That number 11, Trae Young, with the worst haircut in the NBA, by the way.
Mate, I think your least favorite players are Trae Young and Ja Morant.
I think Ja Morant's number one now in regards to the guy that really winds me up. Trae Young, it's not realistic, like with him. It's not realistic. It kind of makes me laugh now, Trae Young, because it's like a little weasel playing against a 7-foot guy. Remember when I told you he out-jumped a 7-foot guy, and he's like tiny, and he out-jumped him because the 7-foot guy like ducked. He ducked instead of jumping. He ducked and let Trae Young get it. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, Trae Young just out-jumped a 7-foot guy. What a joke. It becomes laughable, doesn't it, mate? You don't get annoyed anymore.
No, mate, it's hilarious when you this doesn't happen anymore, everyone, but it's so funny when Adam texts me and he's like, mate, I'm getting wound up watching this. And I said, mate, turn it off.
Yeah, I'm getting wound up watching Trae Young. Like, his three to a joke from like mid-court, he hits a three.
Like, you're like, mate, he just hit a half-court shot. I'm getting wound up.
Yeah, no look as well. He's not even looking. It's a no-look half-court who's like skinnier than me. It's like, no way has he done that. Like, guys, if you ever play basketball, go to the mid-court and just try and throw it in the hoop. Most people can't even throw it to the backboard from there. Oh, no, people say, well, come on, you're just jealous of his technique, aren't you? His technique's shocking when you watch it. Like, mate, what were we saying about some of these three-point shooters and the technique? One guy throws threes like a throw-in football. I laughed so hard. Technique was horrific. And you said Steph's got good technique. It's believable. We know it's all rigged.
Yeah, they make him believable.
His technique's believable. No, you said your boy Dame Dollar Lillard. His threes are a joke, and I was like, you think his threes are a joke? Have you seen Paul Zingas? Absolutely outrageous. That big goons threes, the way they drop in. It's like
Zion Williamson is another one who he does the line drives.
I can appreciate Zion in the paint, like he's dominant in the paint. The guy's an absolute animal, but the shots that he makes outside of the arc, whatever they call it, it's not believable. It's not believable, guys.
What about Luka, mate?
Luka, the guy who always seems to hit clutch threes to win for Dallas. I'm not a fan of Luka. Annoys me, mate. The big goon. He annoys me, Luka. But who do I like, mate? I like Giannis. Always delivers for me. Always.
Yeah, that's Giannis a good one.
Always delivers. Oh, mate, who do I really? This is the guy I hate the most. I can't believe I've missed it. Your boy, your boy CP3, mate. Chris.
Oh my gosh.
I detest that guy. Devin Booker's up there with him. But when it comes to CP3, he's what, 36 as well? Like, he's 36.
I think he's born in 85.
Yeah, he really annoys me, CP3, but
I'd like for me, my guys that usually deliver, I feel like we were kind of talking about this and it was tough to tell with me because I kind of go all over the place with different teams.
True. That's true.
I don't really have a team, but
you like Donovan Mitchell, don't you?
Yeah, Jazz do well for me. I think the Warriors do well for me.
Steph.
I would say, obviously, those are like two of the most winning teams in the league, so that's not like that shocking.
Joel Embiid does well for me. Philly, Embiid always seems to.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
When I like his numbers, Embiid always seems to step up. He's got Kobe numbers as well. That's probably why.
Oh, I would say I like. I think the Hawks are good for me.
You do really well with the Hawks, and you do really well with the Grizzlies, mate, because you know how their coach is all about revelation.
I do. I do well with the Sixers as well, winning or losing, whether they're winning or losing.
The issue with the Sixers, more often than not, when they're big favorites, aren't they? Quite often.
Yeah, they're always favorites, mate.
Yeah, quite often they're favorites, and it's like.
And then when they're a dog, like against the Warriors, I had them to beat the Warriors, and I don't think I took it because I was, it's like the one time.
If you remember, I called Philly in that game, and
yeah, you did, mate. We were both on them.
Yeah, there was like I think one of the 21-5, and like that was Philly's dialing code. There was loads of 21-5s for Golden State to lose.
Yeah, and that same night, Amanda Nunes lost and became 21-5 in UFC.
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job, haven't we, of syncing up all these sports.
Yeah.
We've done better than anybody with that to show you like this.
I might get back into UFC. We'll see. In tennis as well.
That's another thing that you're outstanding at.
I'm okay in those. I'm either like I'll get them all right, or it'll start not looking good, and I'll have to stop with those.
But the UFC always gives you major clues for the NFL the following day, doesn't it? Have you noticed that?
No, I haven't. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Really?
They often give you clues for the NFL.
I see like the different leagues and stuff giving different clues, but I didn't see that. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, you just learn, don't you? You learn, like, there's a lot of things that you probably haven't told me that not intentionally. It's just a lot of things we learn along the way, but you and I do try and share our knowledge with a lot of people. And, that's what we're doing right now here on a Friday. Like, we're giving our time here on a Friday to have this conversation to hopefully help people. So,
it's the best way to spend a Friday, mate.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure speaking to you. And like I said, there are a lot of people left a lot of positive comments about our last discussion that we had. So they wanted another one. And again, if they're like this, we'll come up with a different topic. Or maybe in the comments, guys, if you want to suggest something else you want us to talk about, Jay Sol and I can talk about anything. We'd be up for doing it. So I want to say thank you, Jay Sol. We'll call it a day there. I'm going to go jump in the shower because when I got home from my run, I didn't take a shower. I just came straight on the computer. But much love, mate. And thank you to everybody who's taking time out of the day to listen to this. And thanks for all your comments and your support. And again, when it comes to gambling, guys, just please bet responsibly, okay? Jay Sol, much love. And you want to finish anything? Last comment?
Absolutely, mate. Thank you so much for having me again. And much love to you as well. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Okay, perfect, mate. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.